What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your daily astrology horoscope for Friday, December 17th, 2021. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. Thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate you all so much as always. I hope that your week is going very well and that you're ready for this Friday. It's going to be a pretty exciting Friday, I would say. There's definitely a lot of emotion going to be in the air as we are building up to this full moon tomorrow, and we got the sun and the moon in Sagittarius and Gemini, which is really this truth axis. There's great universal truths, divine truths, natural law, and then there's your truth, your law. Each individual has one. So a lot of emotion about that, a lot of conversation, a very cerebral energy, especially with our emotions. So we look at that sun at 26 degrees, that's serious degree. That makes a net 8. We're getting pretty serious about maybe this galactic sort of energy that we're feeling, maybe feeling like the universe has a lot that it's trying to show us that we want to dedicate to. And Mars is finally off the south node here in Sagittarius. So we're starting to create space from what is illusion on our story so that we can move into what really is sort of this divine story. I feel like today's like a divine mission kind of coming in, and it's showing a lot of information in your personal life with that moon in Gemini and a lot in this Gemini-Sag axis. And this is the last time we're going to get a lunation in these two signs with the nodes here. So very destined times, very important times in our personal lives about what your truth really is. And I think that a lot of things are going to come to the surface for us to feel, especially with Venus and Pluto still conjunct in Capricorn. And Venus is getting ready. Venus is skirt. Look at Venus, 3 minutes of geometry a day. That's stationed, going to turn retrograde on Sunday, just a couple hours after this full moon, which will be Saturday evening. So to me, it's like, yeah, we're feeling a lot of energy right now, but it's a lot of stuff that we really want to, stay present for, be here in the now for, and what, makes sense to you emotionally. So we can be having to purge a lot of what isn't of our truth. Today could feel like there's a lot, like it just has to kind of peace out. Like this doesn't feel good anymore. These people aren't making sense anymore in my life. And a lot of that comes up with Venus and Pluto, and Venus about to go retrograde. So the today is definitely for a Venus day and a station Venus. Like, wow, we're really feeling some of the intensity of the little changes, the tweaks to our story, and how we can move into the new, which is hopefully not an illusion, but it's kind of one step at a time. The more like one step at a time you could be, the better, especially with Mercury now in Capricorn and starting to square over to Chiron in Aries. We could have a lot of, we could feel a little strange or a little weird or, not wanting to identify with the new story and how to kind of pursue that and take the necessary steps. And I think that we can also kind of feel like we really want to, with the sun in the galactic center here, which is at 27 degrees of Sagittarius, right? That's for people that don't know, that's the Milky Way core. So when you look up during the spring and the summer and you see the Milky Way in the sky, that core right there, just after the constellation of Scorpio, is this galactic center. It's a black hole, really. So there's just so much. I love that it's in Sagittarius. It really shows us that there's just infinite out there. There's infinite possibilities. And I think we want to be open right now with the sun here to take in all these infinite possibilities, to take in this high vibration that Spirit is trying to show us but use it in our daily lives maybe more than ever before, and kind of like get those divine plans set and not feel wounded, not feel like a weirdo for going after what is your truth. And I think that's where emotions can be very heightened today. And the moon's going to make a nice trine over to Saturn. So it's almost like we can take more emotional responsibility on like an easier going route than, the squares that we felt a couple days ago, or when we get to that opposition point in Leo with the moon after this full moon. Today's kind of like, yeah, I know, I know what little things I can change. Like, I know that it's also this like, okay, I know that I don't know everything energy, because Sagittarius can kind of know it all, can have it all. I know exactly where this journey's going. We don't want to be in that place. Like, I think there can be a lot of projection. And that's what a lot of conversations can bring up with people today, is like, anything that's super certain, that's kind of a projection of like wounded certainty, which masculine energy of Aries, masculine energy, I look at it as like certainty. Like when you're certain on something, that's a very defining masculine energy. So people that are just projecting sort of this certainty into life, especially if it's around relationship stuff or money or values with Venus on Pluto, no, I'm sorry. Astrologically, that stuff's not going to go well right now. It's not about the certainty. Like we need to get more into the maturity, which I would say feminine energy is more mature in a sense that it's not just so defined. It's more, well, let's see the whole picture. Let's see how everything comes together and what we can create from that. And I think that we could be in more of a beneficial spot there than in that. But, I'll be honest, like even Gemini, air sign, Sagittarius, fire sign, like these are two masculine, elements in the chart that have a lot going on. So it feels like there's going to be a lot of like pressure of certainty. And it's like, no, these are releasing, kind of we need to kind of release the certainty, be open to the infinite possibilities, be open to what little tweaks we can make to feel good. And it brings up a lot of conversation. So I think we can dedicate to that. I think we can be very responsible if we're in our truth with how we communicate, if we're not certain, because that, like I said, projection of certainty could be a big thing right now. And, you just don't want to get duped into something right now. And Venus starting to go, station and going to go retrograde. This is just not a time to make, crazy changes when it comes to your body, the aesthetics in life. Someone asked in the comments yesterday, like Venus retrograde. I forget the exact comment, but like, what is that? Should I start a business or it's like, don't just jump into things. Step by step, plan things, dip your foot in the water right now. If you want to get like hair done, make sure you really want to get that haircut. If you're doing some crazy new haircut or some crazy hair color, like make sure that you've kind of like done the thinking or, step by step, like, yeah, this is what I want. This is what it's going to look like 40 days from now. Like, get warm up, get into things and make sure that it feels good before you just go right in, because you might regret it, especially relationship energy. I feel like there's a lot with relationships right now that can be, because Pluto and Venus, like, okay, so this is either extremely compulsive, needing relationship, needing people in our lives, needing help, needing something that's, giving us power or supporting us or, having like this defined structure in our life. There's that, but then there's also the repulsion of Pluto. So people can be like repulsed or repelling away from people right now. If it doesn't fit the divine plan for that individual. So there's definitely a dual part to a lot of what's going on in our life with people, within our own confidence and self-worth. We could be noticing that little things in our environment and our personal life, there's just a repulsion. Things are just not feeling the way they used to. And I think that that's where the best sort of pivot that can take place and what we can open up and kind of like rebirth into our feel-good energy right now. And it's being open to that, not super certain with outcomes right now, but just like, okay, I kind of want to go for be in the flow state, if you will. And the moon will make good aspects to Chiron too. So I feel like the more we're in a truth, being willing to pivot, we're going to feel better and not as like, I don't know, like not as like just forcing this like ideal of what is the way with the sun and this Mars in Sag. We want to be much more open and adaptable to the journey and feel where that's going for us. And, we're seeing Saturn and Uranus, squaring. Like they're so tight now, all the way up until New Year's Eve. Like they're tight. Like anything that you think is just gonna show up it might not show up. We have to have, I don't want to say low expectations, but like not be really attached to any sort of outcome or any expectation in life. Changes are going to take place, and that's what's hard for people. We get so stuck and we don't want change. And even Venus and Pluto can be like, no, planned this out. This was my main goal, my main mission. Not letting go. And that would be, the hard part is great change is here. Great, trying to take us higher into our physical values, trying to have us build more structure based around our individuality. But we have to like break chains to get there. And I would say too, like, be mindful of your frequency, your energetics. I have been channeling for a while now. I feel like we're in a frequency war in life. It's psychological, it's frequency, much more than anything else right now. So be mindful of how you're feeling, the thoughts that come through your body. Be mindful of these things because, we're kind of susceptible, if you will, to frequency attacks. So we want to be very much, feeling grounded and rooted in our personal truth with this moon and this build up. And I think anything that isn't of that individual sort of, you and that understanding of you have to have good discernment for that right now to know that it's not yours. And you don't have to hold on to that if you don't want to. Of course, Juno, like I said, trining Uranus, and Eros, I mentioned that yesterday, square Uranus, and with Saturn. I just think that relationships are in a very touchy spot right now. And especially like where our passions are going, we could be re-evaluating what those are. And we definitely want to go into what makes us feel the best in life and not just do things for the sake of it for other people, but to, make sure that group of one in yourself is feeling right and liberated and not, suppressed. Because if you're also feeling suppressed right now, that's a good sign. And Venus, Pluto, like toxic stuff with relationships is surfacing. And of course, the full moon is amplifying that by bringing all that emotion out to the surface. So we're getting a lot of revealing right now within our personal lives, within the relationships. A lot of it's going to come through conversations. You're going to see who's forcing something on you that isn't of your divine plan, and you just want to be able to get out of situations that aren't yours, and use that great discernment that you have to do that. I hope you do have a great Friday, though. It definitely pretty heavy emotionally. A lot of emotions that I think we're going to be contemplating. It's a very cerebral and emotional time right now. So really trying to get into what is of your individual truth and what feels good to you, and using that to make moves in life. Like if you need to make a move, we're in a place where it's like intense energy for that. So, and it might not be so intense for everybody. Like this is where certain people could have maybe already kind of, front run energy. I know some people kind of front run the astrology. Some people get the download ahead of time and kind of do the thing so that when the big times come, they're more in the flow with it. And then some other souls, we like to procrastinate, and we like to wait till the last minute, and then we get hit with it hard. So depending on where you are, it could definitely be a little different, but heady energy today. Six of Cups in reverse. Yeah, it's moving into the new. I think we want to, kind of release old memories or old stories in life that don't make sense anymore. It's really releasing things that are not of your like here and now common sense and that make you feel good. So we can create new stories, new memories from this moment. It's like a big, activation time, especially tomorrow with that full moon. We are in quite an activation from that galactic center. So many of us are, I would say, becoming more in tune with our own galactic mission, our own, highest truth, and how to connect to that, bring it down, and create, what's going to bring us comfort and feel good energy here and now from that. But it could involve, definitely endings and beginnings here to get that energy. So don't tie yourself to something right now, especially something that doesn't feel good. Be open to what can be created and what can be birthed from this energy. It's also interesting too that Ceres and the North Node are conjunct right now in Gemini. So, we're kind of like mothering this new truth right now in our lives. And we want to like nurture ourselves and, give our mind some credit at the same time. Give our own personal logic some love so that we can kind of grow these things as well. Lots growing, lots being felt today, but hey, this could be a very, beneficial time for many people. Many people could be like, yes, I'm here, I'm ready. And I hope that that's all you guys. If not, you're ready. You just got to believe it right now. And that's one thing that Sag season can help us through, is to look at the positive and, not get sucked into, the detriment side, but like pivot for the positive. I like that. Pivot for the positive today. And I think you'll have a great Friday. I love you all very much. I will see you for the weekend forecast mañana. Peace.